Rami, do you find that there are commonalities to like, so you go into these companies and I'm sure, there you see some people who are really crushing it. And like you said, everybody has something to work on, but are there commonalities to failure? And are there commonalities to success that you've noticed? Like, hey, this is just, I'm saying that I'm asking this question very selfishly because I want to see if I have any of the commonalities for failure.
Yeah.
Because I'm a growth mindset person. So I'm always like, hey, I don't want to be headed down the wrong path. So I'm just curious if you kind of notice any things that are like, hey, this kind of, I see this pattern. I guess what I'm asking for is more patterns. Like, do you notice a pattern of a company or a business or a person that's stuck? Right. And then do you notice patterns or of a person, of a company and somebody who's like on this path to success? And the reason I'm asking is because I want the listeners to take away like, man, if you can be aware of some of these patterns, then you can either change them yourself or hire a coach like you've talked about, and make that difference. But awareness of it, I feel like, is such a first step.
Yeah, no, and there's definitely a pattern. And there are two big things that are inevitably almost always present in companies that are really, really struggling. First one is the lack of learning. So they're not spending any time learning what's happening on the outside, how their customers are changing, how their customers are shifting, what's happening in their industries. They have a purely inwardly view of this is what we believe, this is what we want to do, this is how we're going to do it.
They have strong beliefs, strongly held.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yes. So that's the number one. That's the number one thing, is that there's zero learning happening.
Would you almost call that like selfish? Like when you said inward, I just thought of like I thought of an individual. I thought to make the comparison of like that at an individual level would be just somebody who walks through life like all they think about is themselves. It's all about them, and it's just like blinders to anybody else's feelings, emotions, thoughts, what they want. Is that selfish is the word that came up for me. I don't know if that resonates, but
when it's at a company level, it has less to do with selfishness. It has more to do with fear. They become worried that if they go out and learn things that don't align with their worldly view, their beliefs, they don't know what to do with that. Wow. Right? That is to them, that is so scary, right? That the customer might want something new, or that the industry might be shifting in a way that they don't know how to handle, that they just close the doors and sit in their comfortable place.
So it's like fear of the unknown?
It's the fear of the unknown. And it's the fear of change, right? It's the fear of change.
Wow. And that's an individual thing too. Like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's the first big thing. The second is, and they kind of go hand in hand, right? Is that whatever problem they're trying to solve, they're going at it alone. They're reinventing the wheels, right? Every time. And so it takes longer, it takes more money, if they make mistakes that have already been solved, right? And so you look and you're like, wait a minute, guys, like there's one company that I was working with recently, and they were essentially building a CRM from scratch. I'm like, guys, it costs $50 to go get like HubSpot. Like what is happening, right? And the part that, I help them pay attention to is, but there's always a justification for why those people, the way those people do it is not the right way for them, because we're so unique, right? Or that solution doesn't quite solve what I want because our process is so unique, right? And it's like, just maybe, get over yourself a little bit, right? Change your process slightly and speed up 100%, right? Wow. Instead of doing that. And it all comes back to this mindset idea of, if I need to change, I should be able to.
So let's say, and we're going deep on this, and then I want to move to lending a little bit here.
Yeah.
But this is fascinating. I'm glad we had that. You and I have never had this talk. Like, this is deep. This is big. This is good stuff. So suppose someone listening to this recognizes that they have one of two of these fears. Okay. Or both.
Yep.
They're going at it alone. And by the way, I can definitely think of times in my life where I've gone at it alone. For that same similar reason of like, well, I'm different. And, of course. And like you said, you actually started this podcast off by saying like, we're all humans and we have the same problems. Like, we actually aren't as unique as we think we are in the human world. So let's say someone listening kind of like let's say what you just shared was a light bulb moment for them. Like it kind of was for me. I was like, wow, those are powerful, powerful lessons. What advice would you have for somebody who's like, damn, I want to change? I get that. That is kind of how I'm acting, maybe in my business, maybe in my family, maybe in my relationships, maybe just as an individual. I have a lack of learning, and it's because of fear of the unknown or fear of change. That's so powerful to me. It's because of this inward view, and I'm going at it alone. I'm thinking I have to reinvent the wheel and create solutions to every problem I'm facing on my own, which I see all the time, by the way. And it could be in even relationships. Like someone's facing a relationship problem. It's like, oh no, you don't understand. Like my wife is this way and I'm this way. And it's like, bro, like there's billions of people on this earth. Like people have faced this problem before. Like you're not as unique. So let's say that's a light bulb moment for someone. What advice do you have for them to get out of those or to change that? Or, assuming they want to.
The first way to break the pattern is, we talk about this a little bit when we're coaching people, right? Is kind of go fish where the fish are. So whatever thing that you do, right? Whether you weave baskets or you got your own bank, like whatever it is, right? It doesn't really matter. The first way to change is to surround yourself by people who are doing what you do, because inevitably other people are doing it differently, right? So that's the first thing, because that's probably the easiest way to see that, oh, look, these other people are having success and they do it differently than I do. Right. So that's the first thing. Surround yourself by people who are doing what you're doing successfully. Having a coach will increase your speed in that realm 5 to 10x. Because here's the thing that a coach does that other influences and other spheres of influence don't, is that they can help hold you accountable to yourself. Right. And it's one thing to be, part of a group of people who are all doing the same thing that I'm doing. But having a coach gives you just enough of that hand in the back support and push that we tend to need to take that first step.
Yeah, man, that's good stuff. I really think that's going to help a lot of people in just kind of stepping outside of themselves and recognizing that they need to step up to a new level. So that's really awesome.